is also filming Quadrophenia at the moment. Well, Sting, I remember thinking when I first sort of got hold of the Quadrophenia album that Pete Townsend's sleeve notes in about 200 words best summed up the whole Modern Rockers era, and that it would make a marvellous documentary film. That's some years ago now. Is that actually the way it's being done?
I think so. The director, Frank Rodham, is actually a documentary filmmaker, or has been, and it's going to have that feel about it. It's going to be very real.
Another band I like to collect is The Police, featuring this guy, Sting, Gordon Sumner, Stingo, the Stingster, whatever you want to call him. He also has a pretty good solo career. Yeah, there he is. There's a Stingster. So let's go back into my collection, pull out some, behind the scenes footage, some interviews. Let's have a look at his movie career.
What part are you playing?
I play the part of Ace, who is Brighton's top mod in 1964. He's the top hooligan, top window smasher, top copper beater-upper. It's generally a good part for me.
Oh, really? Is it being filmed actually on location?
It's been filmed in Brighton, on the seafront. Brighton is now in ruins.
Oh dear, I'm not going home tonight.
That sort of documentary.
Well, I think it ought to be explained, because you don't normally wear shades like this, but...
I don't. I've had an accident.
Yes.
I sprayed some spray in my eyes, and they were looking a bit bleary.
It's not as bad as you think, in fact.
I just feel bleary.
I suppose so. Anyway, well, I'm sure you'll be...
Anyway, it's my film style image.
Well, it obviously is. What about the music for Quadrophenia?
The soundtrack is The Who, and also appearing will be Sham 69 as a band of the time, and an unknown band called The Straight Eight, I hope that's right, who are going to play music of the time, but mainly The Who.
It will be. So, I mean, yours isn't actually purely an acting part, you won't be...
It's pure acting, window smashing and fighting.
It's something you enjoy. Obviously, you don't anyway look old enough to have been around at the time. No. Were you ever a mod?
I was just too young to be a mod. I like them, but I still had short trousers on.
Do you think people will relate to it all now? Easily?
I think it's about youth in revolt, and youth are always revolting, so the present youth will find it good.
Oh, well, Sting, we hope your eyes are better. Thank you very much indeed, and happy birthday.
Now, what about this film? There's been so many things in the press about different film parts that you're going to be doing. What are your film plans?
I'm going to do a film called Brimstone Treacle, which you won't show either.
Not very good to you, really, are we?
No.
Yeah. And when do you start that?
In October.
How does that fit in with all your work with police?
It just does. It fits in a great little slot right in the middle of touring.
Yeah. Now, you've got a new album coming out in 2 weeks, which you filmed in Montserrat, didn't you?
We filmed it. No, we recorded
it in Montserrat. Yeah.
And we filmed it.
Yeah,
you're right.
You did film it, because we're going to be seeing you doing that in just a moment. You made the album very quickly, didn't you? 4 weeks.
4 weeks. We finished 2 hours ahead of schedule.
But the BBC decided that the nature of the material made it unsuitable viewing and banned it outright, a ban that's never been lifted. Now producer Kenneth Trodd is making his feature film debut with a controversial story. Denham Elliott recreates his TV role, Joan Plowright plays his wife. They're visited by a strange young man, played by Sting, who disrupts their lives. Dennis Potter has long been one of our best television drama writers. Now his talents have been directed, and despite, or possibly because of, the complexity of his work, actors find a Potter script very stimulating. Joan Plowright.
When I heard that there was a Dennis Potter script on the way, I was immediately interested. It wasn't, let my agent read it first. It was, I'd like to read it. I think his work has a very distinctive flavour. I've always enjoyed what I've seen.
It is like all the great 19th century writers like Ibsen and Chekhov. He says one thing, and there are several levels. You can say one thing and mean 3 others. Also, he writes rhythmically. For instance, just the scene he doesn't play, my wife says to me, Joan Plowright says, you are a... And he backtracks, and the line is, you are a very wicked man. But Potter writes, you are a... Tom, I have to tell you, you are a very wicked... So he has a wonderful rhythm for actors, It makes it very easy to learn and very easy to play.
So rehearsal first. There's a rehearsal then. Very still now. We'll go from Denham really moving over from there, yeah?
So if you you're just moving into the chair there. It's a comedy. It's very frightening. It's quite sensual and strange, and really it's kind of Sleeping Beauty in a very, very bizarre way, although it isn't in any way a kind of children's fairy tale. It's really a morality play in some ways, a story about good and evil and black and white and Brimstone Treacle. It's a story about people's lives and the strange things that happen to them.
It's a story about the devil who gets into the house and Sting and makes love to the daughter, my daughter, who's paralyzed.
The mother, played by Joan Plowright, loves me. The father suspects that I'm not quite as good as I make out. I'm a really horrible person. When I'm not being horrible, I'm being really creepy. I'm not nice at all in this movie. And it's just beginning to, the cracks are showing.
Tom, you are a very, very wicked man.
You, how dare you say such a...
I've had my eyes open to a few things around here.
What, by the bloody little treat?
Language! I think what I find difficult is the sort of consistent journey of a role in film.
So what I'm going to do, Joan, I'm going to and Sting, when you come in the door, it'll take you over to so we'll come this way and take you over to a 3, so it'll hold until you walk out.
We do the master shot, where we can do it all together. Then we have to do the cuts onto me, then we have to do the cuts onto Denham. You're no longer in charge of your own performance, which you are on stage. It is a director's medium.
A director sets an atmosphere on a set, and he has to coordinate the crew, the actors, and every aspect of it, and that's his job, to create an atmosphere. And Richard Loncraine does it very well.
We deliberately built a set that has ceiling pieces on it, which is not completely open. I mean, some walls float or can be moved away so the camera can get back. But generally, I think it's the limitations of if you're going to be filming not in a location, which produces a kind of claustrophobia and a nice tight feel. The camera can't move around too much. It forces you to get very interesting and strange shots. The thing breaks over.
It's a very enclosed environment, and after about 6 weeks in this house that they built, you actually are living in it. I feel as if it is home, and there isn't any world outside of it.
He has no game.
Here we go, stand by, action.
What's his game, eh? What's he up to?
He has no game, he isn't up to anything.
He might con you, but he won't con me, I'll tell you that.
I'm not going to stay here and listen to this.
Sips on it, and I said, oh, for goodness sake.
Yes, that's right, he's here for goodness sake.
Mumsy.
And I might have been, if Patty had had the sense to accept his proposal.
She wouldn't have looked twice at a mealy-mouthed, pasty-faced ninny like him.
Mr. Bates is really he's obsessed by his own guilt and is also kind of full of hate and fear. And Mrs. Bates is full of joy and happiness and optimism. So in some ways they are also, they see in Martin the things that they perceive in their daily life.
As well as wanting to destroy the family, he also needs it. He needs love and he needs affection. It's near enough the truth, sir. She did promise to think it over, sir. Patty did respect me, although I can't pretend I was ever the answer to her dreams.
Oh, Martin, he didn't mean...
One says the wrong thing now and again, heat of the moment.
I'll go. I'll go tonight.
It's just that we really don't know anything about you. No, Norma, that's the truth. It really is.
You were just the same with Patty's friends when she was... just the same.
I was not.
You know what, Martin? You used to examine her brassiers.
No, I did not.
Yes, you did. I saw you. I saw you checking on her things.
I didn't. I was just being her father.
Why are you so embarrassed, sir?
Keep out of this, you.
Certainly.
Don't talk to our guest like that. Don't be so rude, Tom.
Norma.
What?
Why don't you shut your bloody stupid mouth?
If you ever get the chance, watch this movie. It's pretty darn funny.
Does the acting encroach upon being a rock star? Is it taking over?
No, it doesn't encroach at all, actually. There are two very separate slots for my life, and one is being a musician and a singer and a member of the police, and the other is being in films, and they don't actually meet.
Do you prefer one to the other?
No, I think I'm a singer and a songwriter and a musician first and foremost.
How did you get involved in Brimstone and Treacle? Did you read the script?
I really was the only person to play the role. There was no one else.
Mr. Bates, has he gone, or is he still here?
Yes, he's just gone. He...
Worried about leaving you alone in the house, only, was he?
Well...
You told him not to be such a silly Billy, didn't you?
He's very worried this morning about what he said to you last night. About God.
Oh?
He always talks too much when he's had a glass of sherry.
I read somewhere that you said that you thought you'd learnt a lot working with Joan Plowright.
Joan Plowright and Denham Elliott, well, acting is about give and take, and those actors are so experienced and so wonderful. You couldn't help but learn just by being in the same room with them. They're great. Today I had to work on what's called post-syncing for the film DUNE, which is virtually redoing the soundtrack.
We have a picture of you in DUNE.
Do you?
Yeah, it's an anagram of NUDE as well there. Look at it, there you are in DUNE. I don't know if you're actually wearing that thing or standing behind it.
That's all there is.
That's all there is, yeah. When is that to be released?
That's coming out in
The
Christmas.
film, I mean, not the...
Christmas 84.
Right, we shall see it then.
Come mai hai accettato di fare questa parte in Dunes? How come you accepted to play this part in Dunes after refusing so many parts?
I was very impressed by the...
Sono stato coinvolto con il lavoro del regista, si chiama David Lynch, ed ha fatto un film che si intitola Elephant Man, e volevo lavorare con lui.
I wanted to work with him.
È una grossa produzione ad ogni modo. È enorme. 40 milioni di dollari americani. Sarà il film del 1984. Beh, penso proprio di sì.
Yeah, Dune. I never really got into that movie, but to some people it's their favorite movie, so who knows?
And now he's being very well received as an actor. Welcome to Live at 5. The reviews this morning were terrific.
They were very good, weren't they? I was rather pleased.
That was wonderful. Well, are you going to give up your career as a singer now and devote more time to acting?
Certainly not. I mean, I don't see music and acting as being mutually exclusive. I feel that I can do both things. I'd like to.
This part that you play, it's a very evil, diabolical creature. Did you have to look deep within your psyche to find this?
Not too deep.
Not too deep. It came naturally.
There, below the surface, quite.
Well, how did you prepare for it? Had you had any acting training at all?
Actually, no. I've done 4 movies altogether, but I had little parts, cameos they call them euphemistically. And each movie I had a little bit more to do. And in this film I play the lead, I suppose, so I was given a lot of responsibility. But I figure I'm learning how to act in the glaring spotlight, so maybe that's the best way to do it.
Do you think that anything you're learning from the acting will be of use to you singing?
Yes, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure I got a lot of experience acting when I sing. I mean, you perform, and there's a certain amount of performance involved in singing, or acting involved in singing, so it gives you an edge, I think.
What does he think? What do they think of your career?
My father likes it.
Does he? Mm-hmm. Are you going to tour the country now with this film?
Well, what I'm doing is unusual for me in that I spend all day talking about the film. I'm being interviewed all day from 9 o'clock onwards, so there isn't the pill isn't sweetened by being able to sing, so it's hard work.
The Bride, yeah. I love that movie. I mean, yeah, Clancy Brown as the monster. I mean, come on. What's not to love? My favorite of his is actually called Stormy Monday with Tommy Lee Jones. But it's one of those movies that never gets talked about. I mean, Sting doesn't really even talk about it. That's my favorite of his anyways. Like I said, some people, Dune, The Bride, which I do love, is Sting or The Police, one of your favorite groups. Then stay tuned to my channel because you never, ever know what I have in my collection that I will be sharing with you all. So like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.